Interment will be at Stone Road Cemetery. Shiva will be observed today at the temple from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Pastoral Conference Room. If you further wish to honor the memory of Pincus Cohen, you may do so by making donations to Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra, the Jewish Senior Life Foundation, or to a local charity dedicated to the health and welfare of our community's children. At the request of Helene and family, we will recite now the 23rd Psalm. I invite Silvana Bachman to do it. We can find the Psalm on page 197. 197 of our Siddurim.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אכסר, מינות אשר ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינחלני. נפשי ישובב, נפשי ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי ילך בגיא צלמוות, לא כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן, תערוך לפני שולחן, תערוך לפני שולחן, נגד צורריי. דשנת בשמן ראשי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב בחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
It is now my honor to call upon Helene Newman to speak.
My father lived a long, inspiring, significant, joyful, and grateful life. He modeled the best in who we might be. When I started high school, he became the principal of Benjamin Franklin High School in the city, he and our mom's alma mater. When his appointment was announced, a University of Rochester professor wrote this about him for publication in the newspaper. I knew he had his feet on solid terra firma, one who could preserve a calm mind in times of stress. He was also a sterling character, ready to hold a steady, dependable hand to the wheel of life. Many times he came home for an early dinner, shared his day, and then returned to school for an event. I marveled at how he saw every student through crystal clear lenses and the future of each through rose-colored glasses. He was endlessly optimistic then and throughout his life. He said that one must be to be an educator, especially because the trouble with common sense is that it isn't too common. Dad influenced a great many lives, not just ours. In 1977, the graduating class dedicated the yearbook to him. I quote in part, "The class of 1977 takes great pride in dedicating this year's key to the individual who most epitomizes its slogan, 'Moving on up.'" That slogan reminds us of the words of Emerson when he wrote, "Hitch your wagon to a star." This year's key is dedicated to one who, indeed, constantly reaches for the stars of perfection for Benjamin Franklin High School, its faculty, its staff, and its students. He is an individual who strives all day, every day, to instill in each of us the desire to reach inside of ourselves and to utilize the best that we find there. He has truly inspired us. He occasionally told me that when his time came, he hoped we wouldn't mourn, but that we would tell some stories. He left us with many. A personal favorite is the weekend he met his head custodian at school, and they spent the weekend going from room to room, painting every piece of portable AV equipment a notable shade of chartreuse. Miraculously, the theft of equipment simply ceased. Everyone in the neighborhood would have known where that boombox came from. He was very resourceful and had a marvelous sense of humor, and I can only imagine his delight in the expressions on faces that Monday morning. One day more recently, he described how one of his dining companions complained at length about the meal and then proceeded to eat, in his words, everything except the pattern off the plate. He loved music, spaghetti westerns, tutoring Spanish, traveling, teaching safe driving for ARP, gadgets of all kinds, and timepieces. Mom would sometimes roll her eyes at the multitude of dings and bongs and bird chirps from the array of clocks on the walls. He was quite a writer, and he wrote many letters to us expressing his love, to his grandchildren in college, to friends, to restaurants, to companies. He wrote in block letters, increasingly all caps, hoping it would be legible. He often received letters in return, some with coupons for free products or meals. I still have some organic dates he got for free with the coupons he received just this winter. In recent years, he began to write his memoirs and stories about the people he loved so much, us and our Cohen family. These will be a lasting gift. He was ever aware of what he had. His glass was very full. He was grateful every day of his nearly 9 years at the summit that he was able to live in such a beautiful place with its sense of community, its many activities, and the Jewish culture he treasured. He cared about the young adults who served his meals and were striving to improve themselves with the money they earned. He regularly filled out the comment cards with words of praise. He taught us to notice and value and acknowledge the contributions of everyone in every setting. Dad sought to be worth knowing. He did not expect to become well known. He was both in great measure. Thank you for honoring him and my family by your presence here today.
Thank you, Helene. We now call upon Nancy Cohen to speak.
Pincus was my father-in-law, and what a gift it was to me. And so 2 years ago, on Father's Day, I wrote this poem for him as a gift. We went to the internet to find things that were rare. Purple corn, white peacocks, jeweled squid. They were there. There was even a reference to the splendid purple pink, but it was a ring worth 23 million. Ka-chink. They forgot an object of even more worth. one of the best dads and granddads to inhabit the earth. Not just a family man, but a community treasure. He is known in Rochester as a man without measure. Yes, Pincus Cohen, he is one of a kind, a loving heart and a brilliant mind. He relishes life's blessings, big and small, and has a zest for living that inspires us all. So when using the internet, searchers beware. It's really challenging to find someone so rare. But happily for us, we don't have to look far, because Pincus, we know how special you are. And while Pincus couldn't be with us for this Father's Day, we still feel his presence every day from now on. And as Alan said, a loss today, but he gave us so much that will never be lost. We love you, Pincus.
Thank you, Nancy. The Yizkor prayer is recited on the day of Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, and also on Pesach, on Shavuot and Sukkot. And the prayer Yizkor characterizes a father who is no longer with us as Avi Mori, my father, my teacher. For traditions and values, above all else, is the father's role as the teacher to his children. As any textbook in education will tell you, all teaching falls into two categories. The first, formal instruction, generally takes place in a classroom. It utilizes textbooks, blackboards, lectures, technology, etc. Its goal is to impart information. The second category is that of informal instruction. It has at its goal the imparting of values and the character building. This form of education takes place to a great extent in the home. The medium of instruction is the life, the personality, the examples, and the words of the teacher. The outlook, the attitudes, and the values of the instructor, the father, in this case, are conveyed to the pupils in a very special way. The pupils are the children. It's conveyed in a variety of ways, some so subtle as to defy analysis. However, the result is the shaping of lives and of character in a way far more effective than is possible in a formal classroom. When I think of Pincus Cohen, I think he mastered the ability to shape lives of his home, but also in the setting of a classroom. In both environments, he was able to bring forth his personality with advice, with content, and with care. He felt very proud to be a Jew and to be a Cohen. He felt very proud to be part of the Rochester Jewish community. He was president of the Baal HaKolel Cemetery Association for over 20 years. He was a practical man. To him, people came first. He had grown up in an Orthodox family. He was number 7 of 8 children. And he grew up only with 7 of his siblings. He went to Cheder. One of his uncles died in uniform before Pearl Harbor. His parents taught him great values, Jewish values, making education a priority. Education which was free in America. His younger brother, Irving, was also an educator. He was proud to be a part of many, many generations of Jews in the Jewish community of Rochester. And he supported them. He supported them with his resources. He served his country. That's where you see a flag outside. He loved his family and served his community. At the summit, he became a regular at Friday Shabbat services. During this past winter, he began reading the prayer book Siddur that Alan and Helene had given him years prior as a present for Hanukkah. And he had bookmarked many of the pages. He loved to read that Siddur that his children had given to him. He wrote a 4-page letter to Rabbi Rubenstein, here present, telling about the experience of Passover and how overjoyed he was as they developed a strong relationship for so many years. One of our members told him that he had been a student when Pincus was a teacher, and later a headmaster of the high school. That he always found in Pincus someone to talk to, who was easy to talk to and available to his students. Pincus missed his wife, Gloria, terribly. She was the love of his life. They were really a dynamic duo together. They hosted so many Jewish and secular holidays in their home. She was amazing. And Pincus appreciated that very much because he was there to help her. Pincus and Gloria created a very Jewish home where Yontev was Yontev. That was the home where parents taught their children the significant Jewish values and how to treat people and how people's needs and feelings are really important. My dear wife, Silvana, wrote the following about Pincus, and I asked her to send it to me. She says, Pincus was a very special person to me. He was a mensch. He had so much Yiddishkeit. Pincus was always the first one to arrive to my monthly Nash and Learn class, thanks to his amazing agenda system, because he had posted notes all over his walker, telling him everything he had to do during the day. And it was amazing how many activities he attended each day, always active, participating, sharing his own personal experience, thoughts, and also presenting questions. Silvana says, I could always count on Pinky to participate in the intergenerational programs. Even when we had to do them online over Zoom during the pandemic, he was there. I call on him Pinky because that's the way he introduced himself to the children, as he interacted so well with children, showing them so much care. You could tell that he was an educator, because that special way to connect with the younger generation, little 3rd graders, teenagers, and young adults, everyone loved Pinky. It was lovely to talk to so many people that attended the school where he was a principal, because everyone shared the same warm feelings about him. When I started working at JSL, Pinky and his wife Gloria were so kind to me. They had a special relationship, and Pincus continued to honor her memory after she passed away, talking about her and sharing all the things they did together. Pinky loved his family and often shared stories with us. We connected over so many things: our love for Israel, for the Jewish traditions, even for the Spanish language, which we should call him Señor Rosadito. I went to see him on Friday morning at the Jewish home, and even though he was quite sleepy, I told him how grateful I was to be his friend, and I hope he knew how much he meant to me. Pincus Cohen, like the priest of all, was an effective and caring teacher of the ethics and values of Judaism to his family, his community, until the very last days of his life. We will truly miss him. The Talmud writes, "It is a good sign for one to pass away on Shabbat." On the most simple level, this is because they enter Shabbat as a true day of rest. The Holy Shabbat is a day of rest not only for those who observe it on the physical realm, but also for the souls in the hereafter. Our dear Pincus Cohen entered the Olam HaEmet, the world of truth, on Shabbat morning. He was predeceased by the love of his life for over 73 years, Gloria Cohen, by his son-in-law, really a true son to him, Bruce Newman, of blessed memory. He's survived by his children, Ellen Cohen and Nancy Bloom, and Helene Newman. By his grandchildren, Joe and Jonathan, Eric and Ben, Sam and Penny, Saul and Sarita, and great-grandchildren, Benjamin and Noam. Hinishmatot Tzura Betzora Chaim. May the soul of Pinchas ben Ephraim Eliezer HaKohen, Veshendel, be bound up in the bonds of life eternal. And let us say all together, Amen. Please rise for the memorial prayer. El male rachamim, shochen במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. את נשמת פנחס בן אפרים אליעזר הכהן ושנדל, שלח לעולמו, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו, אנא בעל הרחמים, אז תראהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר